Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I am your host, Sam Randazzo, and I am joined by some friends of mine all the way down to the far right. It is the one, the only Uncle Sam.
Hello.
And right here next to me, it is none other than Mr. Zolo.
Good afternoon.
And behind the computer, doing nothing as always, it is Bruce, the Tugboat Venditti.
What's up?
We are back. Hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. Hot dogs, hamburgers. What'd you make this weekend?
Sausage.
You had some nice sausage? Any vegetables tossed in there? Or?
Coleslaw.
That's it?
That's it.
Coleslaw? Sausage and coleslaw?
That's it. Sausage.
There was a point on Saturday I had a glizzy in each hand.
Did you?
I had glizzies 3 days in a row.
So did I,
glizzy?
actually. Hot dogs.
Oh,
Hot dogs. I got those Wagyu dogs.
okay.
They were fabulous. And then
Those are good.
Mom threw a surprise in there and got these smoked. It's a bratwurst, some German name. I don't remember the name of the brand, but it was a bratwurst stuffed with jalapenos and cream cheese.
Oh, wow.
And it was smoky and it was delicious.
It was
I was all about it. It was, oh yeah. I mean, I was shitting fire for
Spicy?
2 days afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, those
They
are
had big
awesome.
old
Into that.
chunks of jalapeno in there.
Oh, wow.
Fabulous.
We'll need to get it. We'll need to get the name of those
Yeah.
ASAP.
They were top notch. You said what? Your drink of choice was the
Oh, we were drinking Mai Tais. Bacardi Mai Tai.
Nice.
straight out of the bottle.
Pre-made
Straight out of the
Bacardi-
bottle.
The pre-made
pre-made
Bacardi.
one.
Yeah.
It was actually a little weak. You should add more to
I was
it.
just gonna say. I heard you
But-
gotta add to that.
But you can get hammered on that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of drink that if you drink enough of those, you will wake up naked somewhere. And you're not going to know where you're at.
Add a little crack into them, or
Yes.
you did.
Put a little. No, I didn't. I would like to.
Are you a big Kraken
Next
guy?
time, smash some
He's
Kraken
huge.
on there.
There were many a Christmas Eves where the Kraken,
I busted the Kraken out many of
the
Christmas.
black label
that.
Kraken,
Yes.
Yeah.
not the white label Kraken.
Kraken
No.
extra dark.
White
Yes.
label, black
The
label.
black label one. Yeah.
The Kraken.
That
It'll
was-
put hair on your chest
Oh God, it was awful.
and your nuggets.
Any weekend festivities for you two over the beautiful week?
I just gobble glizzies every day.
That was it.
Every day I had a glizzy in my hand. And I went to Movement on Monday, and guess what? I had a glizzy at Movement.
Bruce, anything?
Not really.
Bruce is burnt like a lobster right now. Show him, Bruce. Can we get a close up of Bruce?
No,
Move in
we-
next to
I
Sam
was,
so you can see the pink.
Eric, come on in here. Come in here.
Move in next to Sam. Look how pink his face is.
Oh, yeah.
Look at it. Oh shit.
That's
Look at him.
Tip softball last night. Currently in third place in the standings, but tip softball last night.
Shout out Tip Softball.
Pretty poor showing. We had a 24-12 mercy. I know
The bets were legal. It's okay though.
Uncle Sam was our all-time pitcher back in the last softball league.
I was absolutely horrible, by the way.
No, we
First time I played softball in 30 years.
We've passed up our win total from year one already.
That's good.
We're at 2.
That's good. We were playing in a different league, though.
No,
That league
same
was
league.
a lot better.
Same
no?
league.
It's the same league.
Same league.
Is it?
It's the
Same league.
Yeah.
You playing them one douchebags that we were playing last year?
Yeah, so that's Barley Boys. The ones that a certain someone got in a fight with and got thrown out of. That's the Barley Boys who are in first place, and they're
Okay.
actually pretty good. But we could beat them. You got to come watch us because we're actually decent.
Yeah, I kept trying to get him to come to a game.
I'm
because
sorry. I've been real busy doing.
You're the face of the franchise.
I've been doing man stuff at home.
You know your face is on the jersey, right? Did you know? Did Sam tell you that?
No,
Yeah, I have you with no hat on the jersey.
I don't want to know.
You're the face of the franchise. You should
Okay.
be there. You know, I mean, it's a group effort here. Tip softball.
Okay.
Either way, whatever. Thursday night,
You could give a
6:15.
shit less.
You need to be there. We have a chance to solidify our third place spot right now.
Real quick before we go forward, how's
Yeah.
that cherry slush Alani knew that's in your left hand right now?
It's okay. I'm a little tired. I don't think it has enough caffeine in it.
There's 200
It's only-
milligrams
I can
of
agree.
caffeine.
It's not enough. I need about fucking 1,000
So
milligrams.
you
of
want to know what's
caffeine?
Enough
Eat
take
200
down an
milligrams for
elephant?
each finger.
I drink at least one, minimum one, mostly 2 of these a day, and I have messaged.
Oh, you guys all have them.
Oh yeah.
All 3 of you have them.
Oh, see
I
those
need a
boxes over there?
I need a roadie one.
There are currently That's 29 12-packs of Alani Nu over there.
Oh my god!
I ordered them
are
a
we
year
sponsored
supply
by
at a
them?
time. No, but that's what I'm getting
They
at.
get all jacked up on caffeine.
There we go. I've messaged Alani Nu 15 times to try and work together.
Addison Ray, this one's for you.
The Addison Ray flavor is in one of those boxes. And it's
Listen to me.
fantastic.
Now, normally I would be like, I ain't drinking that.
This is
That's
really
dog
good.
piss.
Oh, I know.
This is
But-
really good.
Just dog.
This isn't bad. This doesn't taste bad.
No,
what was
this
that
is
shit
good.
I was drinking that one day you gave me?
Your favorite flavor is the Addison Ray one. It's called Berry Pop. That's your favorite one of these.
What was the one that I was drinking last time?
You drank the
Something
the
nipple.
Prime. No, it's Prime.
that was
Prime.
awful.
Oh, that's Logan Paul. That's
Awful.
Bruce's boy. That's why. Yeah, that's
Excuse me?
one of the Paul brothers. We're not.
The Who brothers?
The one that fought Floyd Mayweather.
Don't ever buy that shit
Listen,
again.
my
It's dog piss.
homies don't fuck with the
piss.
Paul brothers,
It's
so you don't
dog
have to drink
piss.
those. They're too sweet. It was just too sweet, right?
I just want to see him fight Mike Tyson. That's it.
This, on the other hand, is fantastic, and you guys should.
He should be able to beat Mike Tyson. Yeah, I just said it. He should be able to beat him because Mike has
Why are
30 years
I don't even know
on
what you're talking about right now.
one of the Paul brothers, right?
yeah.
He
Both
wants to
of them
fight
Both
Mike
of them.
Tyson.
Both of them fight.
Mike Tyson's older than you.
No, he's not.
How do you figure?
We're the same age, asshole.
Well, same thing. I mean, Jesus.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I mean,
Listen to
he's
me.
in shape.
Listen to me.
He's in shape.
Hold on. If Bruce squared up with you right now, who would win?
My money's on Uncle Sam.
Bruce
Is
doesn't
it boxing?
have enough experience.
Is this
Yeah,
is
boxing.
This, is
Boxing.
this only
Neither do
fists?
you. I'd whip your ass in a heartbeat.
I'm aware of that, but
Yeah,
Bruce
but
is
you guys
actually
don't
in
have
decent
experience.
shape.
Bruce,
Dude.
I would take you in some fights with a lot of people. That being said, I think Uncle Sam, probably because he's got 40 years on you, is tougher than you.
Listen,
That's
if
no
you can
disrespect.
last
He's
more than
definitely
4.5 minutes,
tougher.
you could win.
Yes, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
If you could last 4.5
But-
minutes,
Could Bruce
win.
dance around you? And
I
your
could
bad
dance around him
meniscus
before.
long enough.
He'd
to
have
win?
a heart attack before he threw his first.
Yeah, but the ring is only so
First
big.
time I hit you, you're going to know it.
That's fine.
The
That's all
final
I would
state.
say.
Would you make
But-
it through the final state?
You have to
Well,
hit
you got to
me.
figure it's been a long time since I've really actually even hit anybody. I think the last person I slapped in the stomach was Leon.
That was 2
And he
years
told me I
ago.
broke his rib and it hurt for 2 months.
What about if there was ground game involved? You
That-
think
I-
you could
I
take
go-
Bruce?
don't
I go
ground
with
game. If we're-
Bruce.
Listen, if we're going to straight up street fight, dude, you're going to be missing a limb. I am going to bite something off or rip something off. Oh. I don't play that game.
wants to
I
be
wanna play
Mike.
fucking hug the lion.
You think?
and
What
go
about
ahead.
Garrett? Straight up boxing? Would you take Garrett?
I love Garrett.
Yeah,
I
but would
never
you
hit
take
Garrett?
You wouldn't hit Garrett.
I love Garrett. I would never hit Garrett.
But you'd hit Bruce.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
No, I love Bruce even. You know what? I'll hit your brother. I'll hit both of your brothers. How about that?
No, you can't hit Christopher.
All right.
Christopher's an Ivy Leaguer
love
now. You
Christopher.
can't
You
fight.
can't.
I love Christopher.
He's going to save us all.
God bless you, Christopher, and your service. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy Memorial Day, Christopher Venditti. We appreciate your service.
Salud.
All right, moving on. Hottest topic in the NFL right now is none other than former Cardinals wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, Christ.
So it was, let's see what we had here. We had DeAndre Hopkins not being happy, and then we had DeAndre Hopkins saying that he was happy in Arizona, and then we had DeAndre Hopkins come out and say, I want to play with a quarterback who can actually get me the ball and knows how to win, which was pretty much a straight shot at his own quarterback at the time, Kyler Murray. And now they released him, not trade him, no June 1st designation. They paid the man to leave.
He's a nuisance.
DeAndre Hopkins, in my opinion, is still one of the best wide receiver talents in the NFL. I mean, I don't
I'd
think
say he's top 10.
I would say he's
I,
easy.
I think he's top
I
five.
was going to say top 5.
I think
Yeah.
he's top 5.
I mean-
Can I say something?
Go for it.
I don't think he's the best, but
No.
I think he's the best all-around receiver in the NFL. Like if you take all of his tools, which is route running, he can get up there. You could throw into him into coverage. He's fast. If you take all of those tools and combine them, there's no all-around receiver that's better than him. There's better route runners than him. There's faster receivers than him. There's taller receivers that can get up there and make crazy catches and receivers with better hands. But he has all of those. He's in the top echelon of all of those categories, which in my opinion makes him
He
one
has
of
a
the
lot
most
of
well-rounded
experience,
receivers.
too. That's why he's
Huge.
That I said top 10 easy because of his experience. He runs clean routes. When he's on the field, he's effective. When they're using him.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't being utilized the right way, I don't believe. Especially when Murray got hurt, it was kind of over.
He ain't
So
a team player, then he ain't good.
the next question here is who actually can afford him, right? So, I mean, some teams that probably could afford him are the Bears, who I don't think would really be in the running.
He ain't playing with Justin Fields.
Yeah, exactly. They have $32 million in cap space. Panthers, $27 million in
There you
cap
go.
space. I don't think he's going to a team that's not contending to win the Super Bowl this year. Jets, interesting
His
one.
criteria was he wants to go somewhere where a quarterback loves to play football and he wants a championship type defense.
I got his criteria too. We could talk about that. I'm
yeah.
looking at his criteria right now.
Jets, $24 million. Obviously, the Cardinals are in there, and he's not going back there. Lions at $23.5 million. Colts at $23.5 million. So out of those teams, realistically, I think you have two that are contending, and that's the Jets and the Lions.
And the Jets have to sign Quinnen Williams yet, too. And if they don't, in a hypothetical where Hopkins wants money and they sign Hopkins, then who knows? Maybe that frees up Quinnen Williams. So
Other teams that I've heard in the mix here, the Chiefs, who I don't think have the money. They'd
They're
have
at
to
the
do
bottom.
some serious
They have
things.
$1 million,
the
under
Chiefs
$1
are
million
at
in
the
cap
bottom.
space.
You got to get creative. Obviously, there's some snake work that goes on with the NFL salary cap. But the Chiefs and the team that you're going to say next are literally at the bottom. Say the second
Buffalo.
team. Those are 32 and 31, respectively, in cap room. It sounds like they just want to make sure that each other don't get DeAndre Hopkins. I think that, did you guys see that the Chiefs are like, whoa, we're going to take a look at him for sure, but we think Kadarius Toney is going to be every bit as good as DeAndre Hopkins this year. The fuck?
So,
Wow.
And then there were three other teams that I saw that have picked up heat. New England, obviously, because every time there is an aging superstar veteran guy, New England tries to sign him for a year. So New
Well,
England's
hey,
in
it
there.
doesn't try. They do.
The Ravens, which
That's interesting.
that's beyond
They
interesting.
could use him.
And
I think he would be their most consistent guy.
Deshaun Watson came out today and said that he expects the Browns to show interest in DeAndre Hopkins.
Whatever.
Out of all of these things that we're hearing, like here we go, Giants are doing their due diligence on DeAndre Hopkins. Out of all these teams that we're hearing, what makes the most sense to you guys?
Can we say, are the Lions in there?
Yes, the
Why
Lions
don't
are
we
in
just go team by team and see what makes sense and what doesn't?
Okay, the Jets.
Because you can make a case for all these teams. The Jets, I don't think outside of Garrett Williams, they have a clear second option. And please, you're not going to convince me that any of these dudes that they brought in to appease Aaron Rodgers are going to be second options. I just don't believe that.
No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
You don't think the Ghost could outperform DeAndre Hopkins this year?
I'm sorry?
The Ghost of Randall Cobb?
Yeah, if he's floating around the fucking stadium somewhere scaring people, that'd be the only way you could do that.
All right, next, Detroit. I mean, my God, would that be a nice
I'm
filler
I'm
for...
going to say this. I don't think he fits the Dan Campbell narrative. I really don't. I know he loves to play football. He has some issues. He has some... obviously, this guy has some issues.
I don't think that's the
a team would
case.
fucking release him if he did not have some kind of issues.
Well, he didn't want to play there. He didn't want to play there, and they could afford
Because he
to.
wasn't getting enough targets.
They could afford to move on from a guy that doesn't want to play there right now because they're in rebuild mode. They're
But
essentially
you know,
in rebuild.
you want to know what kind of bothers me about that is this. Amari Cooper has been sent
Oh,
all around the
Jesus
league.
Christ.
I'm going to say this, and Amari Cooper has been sent to some shit shows, but the guy still performs.
Amari Cooper can't
know
hold
what I mean?
DeAndre Hopkins' jock strap.
Can I say something? First things first, I love Amari Cooper. I'm happy you
Yep.
brought him up.
Stand Amari.
But I don't think he's been sent to any shit shows because the only shit show is Cleveland, and he chose to go there in free agency.
That is true.
But I love Amari Cooper, and for that reason, I think he would look real. DeAndre Hopkins would look really good opposite of Amari Cooper in Cleveland.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
I don't think they could afford him. Like we don't know if Hopkins is going to want money. People are talking about the money because he just got released and he's that good. He does deserve a $20 million contract, but he could totally take a year off right now. Take a year off as in go play somewhere for cheap and take a smaller deal to go try and win. We don't know what he's thinking. We don't know anything.
Signed just a one year deal. Also,
Yeah,
I
one of those Patriots
I don't.
deals.
Correct.
I don't-
Patriots, yeah.
Yeah. Bruce? What's the top three salaries as receivers go right now
Well,
per year?
Asking me.
hold on.
Huh?
So
Why you asking
before
me?
I will answer that question for you, but before we get there, there's something I saw on Twitter this morning that was interesting to me. He said he wanted to go to a quarterback a team with a quarterback that wins. Over the last 6 seasons, could you tell me the 3 most winningest quarterbacks in the NFL? They have the most
Tom
games
Brady,
won.
Patty
No,
Mahomes.
Brady
Aaron
is not
Rodgers?
in it.
Mahomes is.
Mahomes is, Rodgers is.
Okay.
Number 3 is Jared Goff.
Okay.
That's number 1. Number 2, I don't think he's not a Dan Campbell guy like you guys are like preaching
Yeah,
here.
I think he's
don't
totally
think
a
that's
Dan
the
Campbell
case.
guy.
I think he's 1,000% a Dan Campbell guy. I think he's committed to the game. I think he was in a bad situation. When he went to Arizona, Arizona was not expected to be a shit show. When he went there, Arizona was supposed to compete for the division.
Kyler was on fire. They had great receivers. Good running backs.
The defense was
The
really
defense was good.
Yeah.
They were supposed to compete for the division.
And I think he went there and it all fell apart and he wanted out. And for a guy like him, I don't think you can really, I wouldn't hold that against him. I wouldn't.
He said he wants to play for a quarterback that loves football.
Well, yeah.
I think that's an issue right there.
Right there. Kyler Murray, they had to put it in his contract that he couldn't play fucking video games.
Are you talking about with the Lions? With
No, I'm
Jared
talking about
Goff?
with the Cardinals.
Yeah, okay, with the car. I agree.
Yeah.
Can I the Dan Campbell guy thing, can I add to that real quick?
Please.
Does anybody here, don't all jump at once. I know there's people that are watching this right now that know this. Does anybody know DeAndre Hopkins' story by any chance?
I do not.
DeAndre Hopkins' mother was in an extremely abusive relationship and in 2002 had a boiling concoction of bleach thrown at her eye when she was 24 years old, her eyes, and she is completely blind. And a lot of people, you've seen the story. Some people have seen the stories. They've done pieces on this before. It's an actual thing. And DeAndre Hopkins donates to women's charities all the time. He's really good about having his mom at most of his games. He takes care of his mother, and he's a family guy. And I actually do think he does fit the Dan Campbell narrative. I do. I think he's a guy that could come here and adapt to the culture because one thing we know about Dan Campbell for certain, you could say whatever you want. You could say he's a bad coach. I'm not going to argue it. You could say he's a good coach. I'm not going to argue it. Whatever. But one thing we know for certain about Dan Campbell is that his players love him. His players love him. And I don't think DeAndre Hopkins has been in a situation. I can't imagine him loving Bill O'Brien that much. And maybe he liked Cliff
You'd be
Kingsbury.
surprised that a lot of these guys love Bill O'Brien.
Maybe. We'll see in New England this year.
You'd be shocked.
Regardless.
Because when O'Brien left, that's when it fell apart.
It all fell apart. I'll give it to
That's
you.
when Hopkins was gone after that.
I'll give it to you.
Bill O'Brien's another really good story with his life, with his son, and the stuff that they go through, him and his wife every day when he was trying to.
His son's autistic, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or Down syndrome or something like that.
I'm telling you what, their day starts very early and does not end.
So maybe that puts the Patriots in the conversation more than we think. I don't think the Patriots are in the conversation because of
And
Mac
Bill
Jones.
O'Brien's the offensive coordinator.
That's why.
there
That's
now.
why.
Yeah,
I agree. with that.
agree. I don't think the Patriots are in the conversation.
I think
as
Mac
much
Jones
because
Mac Jones disqualifies DeAndre Hopkins from. I wouldn't want to walk into that division knowing they might be a good team, but they're probably the fourth best team in that division. So I think that disqualifies them. I mean, do we want to do Chiefs and Bills? Obviously, it makes sense for both of them. To me, Bills makes more sense than Chiefs.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati's got a great receiving core. They can't afford him, but that would be another great landing spot for him.
So you wanted to know top 3 receiver contracts. It's Tyreek Hill at $30 million a year,
Right.
Devontae Adams at $28 million a year, and Kupp at $26.5 million a year.
Okay, so obviously that's per year.
Correct.
These other teams can't afford that.
Well, here's the thing. I think he falls. I don't know if he falls into that.
Well, I'm not saying
Category.
he falls
I
into the
kinda
20
do.
million category.
I think
he's
I
got to
kinda
give
do.
this guy at least 18 million.
Maybe not this year. Okay, maybe
Correct.
maybe he
not
does
this
go
year.
somewhere for cheap to try and win. Maybe
10
that
to
not this
15
year.
million?
But if he goes into the right situation and does a lot of damage and wins
Right.
games, he's gonna get that money next
Agree.
year.
Next year.
100%.
Next year, if he performs this year, he's going to be the top paid guy next year.
Basically, he's on the verge. He wants to go to a team that's stable.
Correct. Stability.
He's looking for
Can
stability.
we go over your list? Excuse me, not your list, but you referenced his list of what he's looking for. I have it. He went on what did he go on, a podcast?
It was a podcast, yep.
He went on a podcast and he explained what he was looking for. And it starts with Number one, it was the I Am an Athlete podcast, by the way. I didn't listen to it, but his list of requirements, number one is stable management. Okay?
Whew.
So Bills and Chiefs obviously have stable management. You can make the case for the Jets. I know a lot of people love what the Jets have done.
That right there is why the Patriots have been brought into the conversation.
Yeah, and the
More
Patriots.
stable than Patriots. Come on.
And until recently, of course,
Right.
but the Patriots could easily be in the conversation. And it depends. You can manipulate that anyway for the Lions. Depends how you feel about Brad Holmes. You can't question what's been done the first 2 years, though. He had a complete rebuild. He's done wonders with the reclamation project of Jared Goff, and they went from 2 wins to 9 wins, and they're projected to win the division this year. That's because of stable management and stable coaching. That's my opinion. You can argue against it. I'm not going to do that. I would say the Lions check off that box. Do you agree to disagree on stable management with the Lions?
Probably the first time in the
For
last
the first
30
time in
years that
30
they've
years,
had
yes, I agree
stable
with that.
management.
Right now,
would
it is as stable as it has probably ever been.
Number two is a tough one for the Lions. That being said, it could be manipulated. Women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie. This could be manipulated either way. Number two is he's looking for a quarterback who loves the game. Direct shot at Kyler Murray. And I think he liked Kyler Murray when he was playing, but he's looking for a quarterback who loves the game. You can make that case for or against Jared Goff. Maybe L.A. Jared Goff didn't love the game as much at the end because Sean McVay was treating him like a turd. And they had a very sour relationship. It sure as shit seems like Jared Goff loves to play football right now.
Agree.
And he's coming off a Pro Bowl year, and like Sam just mentioned, there's only 2 quarterbacks with more wins than him over the last, 5 years, was it?
6.
6 years. There's only 2 quarterbacks, and neither of them are in the NFC.
Yeah,
Neither of them.
That's Rodgers and Mahomes. So
Number
some
3
serious company.
Number 3 is a big one, and I personally don't think the Lions check off this box, and I want to hear what you have to say, Uncle Sam. It's a great defense. I want to see it to believe it. I think the Lions' defense is going to be very serviceable this year and much improved, and I thought it was outstanding down the stretch. It's not a great defense, at least on paper. But let me hear what you have to say about that.
I think that's their Achilles heel. I think that's the only reason if I was him and in his situation, I would really have to look hard at it. Yes, they played good the last 7 to 8 games of the season. They were only dismantled in one of those. And I think that if you're going to put, at this point of his career, he wants to play for championship. It's not about money at this point for him because he's made his money in this league. So I truly think he wants to play for a championship.
I agree.
You know, that's the only reason why I would personally take Detroit out of it, because I don't think their defense is good enough or will be good enough to keep them and where they should be to go deep into the playoffs. I don't see it.
I want
Even
to
with what they did this year.
I want to go through and get a where do you think he's going to land in a dark horse, but before we do that, I just want to say one thing. I would love DeAndre Hopkins here. DeAndre Hopkins, if you ever see this, D-Hop, I would love to have you here. But the Lions do not need DeAndre Hopkins.
Agree.
They don't need him.
They don't need him.
They don't need him.
Want him here. Would love
God,
it.
would it be nice?
It's not like
he would be a really nice addition, especially missing Williams.
Yeah.
Jameis Williams for the first 6 games. He would really be a stability point to the whole receiving core. I personally think Marvin Jones, his best days are
I was just going to say.
behind him.
I was just going to say.
I don't think he's as good as Hopkins.
But he checks off the box that Hopkins would bring to the table.
Yes.
By no means. I'm not saying Marvin Jones is DeAndre Hopkins.
No,
by no means.
He's not going to have his production.
But I love Marvin Jones enough, and if you didn't sign Marvin Jones, this would make tons of sense. But Marvin Jones is your taller, I need to throw it up there and see if there's a guy that can make a play. That's what DeAndre Hopkins brings. And that's
he
what
did
they're
that a
expecting
couple
in
times
Williams,
last
too.
year with Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
I seen it.
Well,
with
he
him.
did it for the Lions, too.
Yeah.
He was great for the Lions, Marvin Jones.
Yeah, but that was some time ago, and I think he's lost a few steps since that.
When I see DeAndre Hopkins, I see the hands, the speed, and the height. And that's what I love about him. But they don't need him. They have Marvin Jones.
He's a durable guy.
And they love Antoine Green, the Lions. They're big into that. They're big into what he brings. This isn't what I was going to say was this isn't as big as having Quinn Williams. We had the Quinn Williams talk last time we were here.
I would love to have Quentin Williams. I would take him over Hopkins any day of the week, twice on Sunday.
I think he makes more of an instant impact. Like, at the end of the day, nobody's going to complain about the Lions receiving core this year. A complaint for the Lions is going to be that your interior defense.
Correct.
So that's why I agree with you
that's the
1,000%.
I mean, if they went out and signed a guy like Quentin Williams, okay, let's say that the Jets hypothetically cannot sign him and he wants out. And Detroit and Brad Holmes says, you know what? You come here. We're going to give you what you want. You're going to be a mainstay in this franchise. And then if they want to sign Hopkins on top of that, I'm all for it.
Okay. Like he just asked, where do I think he'll go? And my dark horse is easy. It's New England. I just, for some reason,
I think with Bill O'Brien being the offensive coordinator,
as much as I don't like it, it just makes sense. And I don't know why, but it just does.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think if he goes to New England,
No.
you still got them finishing bottom of the
Yes.
division?
Yes, without
Really?
question.
Mac Jones just is
Because
in
again,
it.
New England is going to be, and I feel wholeheartedly on this.
Okay.
New England and Tampa Bay are going to battle it out. I think there's a chance where you see New England going for Caleb Williams.
I don't disagree.
I just do.
I don't disagree.
I don't
DeAndre
think Bill
Hopkins
Belichick's
messes
dumping
that up.
Games.
Well, not dumping games, but I just think they're in a division where I don't think they're gonna beat their in-division teams, and I just don't. There's nothing there.
Listen, one of those teams that were in the playoffs last year are not going to be there this year.
Can you tell me who the Patriots receivers are?
No, I cannot.
Any of them?
Well, they're gone. The ones that I remember.
Right. Who's there? Devontae Parker. I mean, that's
Is he there?
and I don't even know if he's
Still
there.
or no?
I don't know, but
I
there's.
don't know either.
I don't know if there's anything New England can do to
Bruce,
put
what do you
themselves.
think?
What do you
Bruce?
mean?
Bruce, wake up.
Wake
So
up.
that's my dark
Over here
horse.
controlling
Okay.
cameras, okay?
Juju.
Oh, Juju. There you go. Juju Smith-Schuster,
there you
baby.
go.
Juju,
Fuck.
Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, and that's
I
it.
love Kendrick Bourne, by the way.
I know, yeah. The whole 6 fantasy points he gave you last year. Listen, that's my dark horse, and my team that I think is going to go for him. I can't pick one. I have 2 that I think are tied that I could both see him in. That's a straight 50-50, and it's Buffalo or Baltimore. I don't think he's going to Kansas City.
Buffalo can't afford him.
They can find. Here's the thing:
They
it's the
can't afford
NFL.
him.
They can
Go
find a
ahead,
way.
What makes most sense is Baltimore.
What? That's you think that's where he's going to end up, or is that
That's
your dark
where
horse?
I think he's going to end.
Who's your dark horse?
That is my dark horse. Baltimore.
And where do you think he's going to end up?
Baltimore.
It's fair. It's fair.
No, I think that's my dark horse is Baltimore. The reason why I'm saying this, Baltimore has cap space to sign him, even after signing Jackson to that huge contract.
Well, they have Odell too. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, well, Odell, you know what? I'm going to say this, and it kind of reminds me of, the Miami Heat signing 3 All-Stars. Anyway, I just think Odell's best days are behind him. I don't think he can stay healthy enough to stay on the field to be a consistent wide receiver in the NFL anymore.
I'm kind of Baltimore sounds great, and I don't know.
That's stability.
We don't
for him.
know what he's thinking. We'll get a good idea on Hopkins. He just signed with an agent from Clutch Sports, LeBron's agency. So we'll get a good idea on what he's thinking, I feel like, pretty soon here. If it's going to be about money or if it's going to be about winning, we'll know based on where he visits.
Correct.
My dark horse, I mean, you can make the case that the Lions are going to be a dark horse. I don't think so. I think the Lions are out on this because we'd know by now because they have the money to make it happen. And also, I don't know if he's going to want to come here. My dark horse is a weird one that you guys are going to love. If it comes down to a team that can pay him and he signs a bigger contract and something he could believe in, my dark horse is the Carolina Panthers.
Whew.
I think that place makes a ton of sense. He's in a good situation in a winnable division with a young quarterback. Maybe he doesn't want to play with a young quarterback, but that's a great
Front
spot.
office.
Good front office, good head coach. So that's my dark horse is Carolina. I could see anything you guys said. I could see the Lions.
The defense is solid.
I could see the Lions. I could see the Patriots. Baltimore sounds sexy as shit. I hate to just agree with you, but I think the Bills. We've talked about the Bills every single time I've been on this podcast. This is their shit or get off the pot year. It seems like it's going to be the Bills. That's my guess. I don't think.
Listen, if Buffalo can't sign him, and I will say this now, I think Buffalo will not make the playoffs this year.
There's
if
a chance.
They do, they're out in the first round.
We agreed with it. I think we were all on the same page on how we felt about that division, and that could easily happen.
Yeah.
You're a Jets guy, so I think you probably have Buffalo
I still
out.
think it's between the Jets and Miami.
I agree.
That's my opinion. I think Miami's probably got the better roster with a better offense than the Jets. I mean, who has a better receiving core than them? Nobody.
So I'm going with Carolina as my dark horse, and I think he ultimately ends up with the Bills for 1 year on a team friendly deal. They make the maneuvering to make it happen, and he ends up playing with Josh Allen for this 1 year, and then we'll see how it goes.
If they can't get him, they're going to be in trouble because it ain't working with Gabe Davis and whoever else.
But you put him on
year.
the field. They drafted Dalton Kincaid, who was the best pass catching tight end in the draft. And they still have Diggs. That'll make Diggs way happier, so much happier. And you have arguably two of the best 5 receivers in football at that point on your offense. Yeah. And I think that's enough to move the needle for Buffalo to win that division too. I genuinely believe that. If they do it.
So nobody on the Jets. Nobody thinks the Jets. That's all I'm hearing, and nobody thinks that.
Well, I don't think the Jets are in play just because they got to sign.
They got to sign Quinnen Williams, and I don't think they could do.
They can't afford it.
They'd have to do again. We don't know what Hopkins is thinking.
What is?
Yeah, what if
Rodgers is tearing down $50 million this year?
Yeah, and Quinnen Williams. If they sign Quinnen Williams, which I think we're all in agreement that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
When there's those contract disputes, they get solved more often than they don't.
Right.
I think Quinnen Williams is going to get $25 million a year, and it's going to cut into that cap space.
All right, moving on. We'll talk more about the Jets now. Robert Saleh said today that Breece Hall should be ready for Week 1, so that will be a absolute. I mean, that's a lifesaver for Aaron Rodgers. That was huge for them.
Watch out for that kid. You're talking maybe MVP candidate in the AFC.
Well, we're going to talk about Breece Hall.
I'm telling you right now, if he can stay healthy. He was doing things that we haven't seen a back do in quite some time.
We're going to talk about him a little bit more here in a few minutes. Okay. We need to talk about the Jimmy Garoppolo situation before we get into our fantasy talk.
What did you get in trouble again?
With just under 100 days until the season starts. What is it, Bruce? 99 to be exact? 99 days.
Yesterday was 100.
Over the weekend, it came out that actually when he went to the Raiders, he failed his physical, but essentially signed a waiver, and I don't have the exact thing in front of me. I probably should, but saying that if he gets hurt, if anything happens, any injury stemming from this existing injury, they can essentially cut him and give him nothing. Is essentially what came out. He wanted to continue to play. That's what he told them. And so now the Raiders are in a situation where if anything happens to Jimmy G...
They have a quarterback that can't pass a physical.
They have a quarterback that can't pass a physical, but they covered their ass because if anything happens, they get off free and clear.
So the $75 million is void?
Essentially, yes. Yes.
Okay. So what does this do?
It means that Tom Brady's going to be the quarterback of the Raiders next year.
Yeah, well, I don't
could
think
you
you can
imagine?
Fucking say it now.
I think there's already owners that are raising a stink about that. I read somewhere.
Correct. I've seen that.
You saw that too. So I don't think they could have him.
The only way that he could actually play,
I'm glad I'm not the one who brought
because he
this
is a
up.
part owner now. There's a conflict of interest. So the only way for him to be able to play is to get permission from all the owners in the league.
That's a real thing?
I think so, yes.
Either way, he's not coming back and he's not going to play. But
you know what? You saying that right now? Listen, wait till the tidal wave starts here in frickin' end of July when camps start.
Well, also, I mean,
and then all of a sudden you'll see he'll be all over the news because he's an egomaniac, by the way, a fucking egomaniac, and he'll just throw a wrench into everybody's shit. And he loves doing that because he did that the year
And I
before.
mean, let's be real. It's not like he couldn't just fire sale whatever his ownership is worth in the Raiders back to somebody else in the ownership
Weirdo Mark
group.
Davis?
Yeah,
Doesn't matter.
I mean, who
He's a
cares?
weirdo anyway. You know? Listen, he was supposed to be the quarterback there fucking the year before last.
What is
So,
this?
it makes
If that
sense.
was, if you're Devontae Adams or you're Josh Jacobs or you are top brass in the Raiders organization, does this worry you? I mean, that's your season. Who else is there?
I just told you.
I think you guys were you high on the Raiders? I don't remember. I know you were high on the Raiders.
I was.
Last year I was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year you were extremely high. on.
Even if he's healthy, I mean, not only is Jimmy G not it for me, Josh McDaniels is not it.
I'm not a Josh McDaniels guy either.
I think these guys are very, very much going to be in the quarterback sweepstakes for next year. And maybe they're not going to be bad enough to land Caleb Williams.
Let me tell you something. If Tom Brady is an option, I truly believe that they're already in the mix of doing something
Listen to me.
sexy.
Who's their backup?
Brian Hoyer and Aiden O'Connell.
See ya.
Guess what? If that were to happen, you'd have to put Jimmy G in a padded room.
Why? Jimmy G is going to be on the sidelines holding his clipboard just like he was in New England. So,
That's why.
where are we going
That's
with
why.
this?
This is yet
Where are we
another development that adds to my prediction that I had 2 or 3 weeks ago that Devontae Adams will not be a Raider by midseason. That's for sure by the end of the year, but I'm guessing midseason.
You don't think if they
Shit, maybe
say,
even camp.
All right, we're bringing in Tom. He's going to be the quarterback.
I don't think Tom
Jimmy's
Brady
gonna
can do
back
it
him up.
anymore. I don't think Tom Brady can do it anymore. He needs not that he can't do it anymore, but if Tom Brady's going to go out there and do the damn thing, he's going to need a perfect offensive line in front of him, and I don't
They
think
don't-
he
Raiders
has
don't have
that.
that.
I don't think he has that
I agree with that.
with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, because he's already played with a shitty offensive line. You've seen that last year.
And it cost them everything. They could have
Yeah.
won. They could have won something last year if they had just a couple big dudes that were healthy in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just lost too many guys at one time.
All right. It's only 99 days away, so it's time to start talking about fantasy. I mean, I know this might seem a little bit early. Today is May 31st, but let's be real. Yeah, June's going to come and go. July's going to come and go.
And it's
then
draft season.
August 1st, that's the start of draft season. We're 2 months away.
Yeah.
We are literally only 2 months away. I mean, we usually do Labor Day weekend just because we like to make sure everybody's injured before we draft. But
That's smart.
That's
By the
play.
way.
the Wednesday night before the season
when
starts.
exactly. So I want to play a little game that I call Back or Lack, and we're going to take some names from last year, some of which had good seasons, some of which had bad seasons, some of which were injured, all the above, and I want you guys to tell me if they are going to be 100% back and are going to be a true fantasy weapon, or if they're going to lack, which means they're going to have a worse year than last year, or you're going to want to just absolutely choke yourself because you drafted them. And I want to start off with one big name. He was a 1-1 in multiple leagues last year, and that is Indianapolis Colts running back Jonathan Taylor. Now, I didn't think he was 1-1, 1-2, 1-3 last year. If he fell, I had the fourth pick. If he fell to me there, I would have considered it. I was an Eckler guy there. I don't know what to expect out of him this year, but what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Uncle Sam.
Oh, I think he's going to have a bounce back year this year. I really do.
1,000%?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I'm going to go back on Jonathan Taylor. It goes back to my Anthony Richardson prediction. I think Anthony Richardson's going to start day one and be very beneficial to that offense, and therefore Taylor, if he's healthy, because he's had issues with health, if he's healthy, I'm going to go back on Jonathan Taylor.
He's the only thing offensively that they had last year. I mean, he ran the ball. I don't even know how many carries he had, but my man took a beating last year. And I think toward the end of the year, he finally started to get healthy.
When I say back, I just want it on record that I don't mean he's going to be fantasy running back number one and best running back in football. I just think he's going to have a good year and be consistent. But I'm going to go with back on Jonathan Taylor.
Okay. I agree.
Another one that a lot of people thought could go 1-1.
Wait, hold on. What do you think about Jonathan Taylor? Yeah, you're not. You
Bruce,
can't escape this.
I wanted to say, I honestly think I'm going to say lack on Jonathan Taylor.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, last year, when it got bad, it got bad.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't think he's going to be a top 5 guy. No. What I'm saying is top 10. He'll be gone.
Okay, but here you go. This is what you have to remember. We're at ADP. All right, if we're talking strictly based on ADP, he is.
He's down there.
He's at 11. Are you taking him at 11?
Yeah,
I'll take him at 10.
that's 11 in some leagues means he's not making it, or he's going out of the first round. And that's
Correct.
I feel like that could be
He's
good
at the
value.
1-2 turn.
Yeah,
I feel like you can get a
mostly he's
starting
got
running
12
back.
to 14 teams anyway.
We can't predict health.
Right.
It sucks. It's the
Yeah.
worst thing in the world.
I mean, I'll bet you Christian McCaffrey is the first guy gone off the board in every fucking league.
You want me to surprise
And
you?
guess what? The last time that happened,
he got
he
hurt.
missed the whole season.
Right now, McCaffrey's ADP is 4.5.
top 5.
Top five.
I don't think that's true. I think he'll be gone earlier
Eckler is
than
the
top
highest
5.
back right now.
Eckler
ADP.
is?
Yep. Eckler.
That's the way you like it. Huh?
That is the way I like it. Okay, next up. Cooper Kupp.
Top 3.
Top 3.
Top 3 receiver.
Well, you got to say back or
Back or
lack.
lack?
Back.
Why?
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 Because I don't think they could get any worse than they were last year.
Okay, I'm sitting here looking at this Cooper Kupp ADP 5. There's no way I'm taking him there. I cannot, with a good
You
conscience,
don't
take
trust
him.
Matt Stafford?
Would you take, if you had the 5th pick, are you taking Kupp or Kelsey?
Kelsey.
Kelsey.
But
If McCaffrey falls to you,
you
you're
were
going to
picking
take
there,
him?
would you take Andrews or Cooper Kupp?
I would take Cooper Kupp over Andrews.
But this is back or lack, though, and we're just talking about if they're going to lack next year, if they're going to be back. Mm-hmm. It comes down to Stafford. Right now, we're anticipating Matthew Stafford being back, and on paper, he's going to play the entire year. And for that reason, I'm going to give Cooper Kupp a back. That could easily change. I'm less sure on Cooper Kupp than I am on Jonathan Taylor.
I'm going to say lack on Kupp.
It's fair.
I just Cooper Kupp, that 1 year. It was that one beautiful, brilliant, gorgeous. He won you your championship
Cooper Kupp
year.
put up big numbers with Jared Goff. So
yes, but
I
it wasn't.
don't
It
agree
wasn't
with that.
when he was there. You still weren't considering him at 1-1. He was not a top 3
Him and
fantasy
Robert
pick.
Woods were tearing up the league.
I'm
with
aware,
Jared
but
Goff.
you're
What's
talking
the ADP?
5.
I'm not taking him in the top
I am
5.
not taking him in the top 5.
I don't think he's at. You ready for this? Pending where he ends up, I'm taking DeAndre Hopkins over Cooper Kupp.
I don't think Kupp is a top 5 fantasy receiver this year.
Fair,
Oh wow,
fair.
wow.
We're gonna jump quarterback for a second here.
Oh god.
Lamar Jackson.
I'll go first. Back. This is the best offense Lamar Jackson has ever played in. He has receivers for the first time. They have to stay healthy. He has to stay healthy. I think he's got one of the best head coaches in football. They brought Don Martindale, who's going to open that offense up for him. Lamar Jackson is one of my MVP candidates. I think he's going to win the MVP, and I think he's back this year in fantasy football.
I agree.
I
had him. I drafted him last year
Try and
because
throw
I
us off.
thought he was the best player in football. I thought he was going to be ready.
Unfortunately, I'm going to agree with you guys, and I'm going to say
Okay.
back. Again, it's the best offense he's ever had. Hopefully, he's coming in at some healthier than he has in a long time. I think this, if he's going to do it, if he's going to go for another MVP, it's this year.
Him sitting out the rest of those games last year was the best thing he could have done.
And on top of that, people thought he was selfish for doing it. He had totally justified reasons.
Correct.
And
Agreed.
He had an explanation for everything he did.
And I'll say this right now: he's currently going as QB 5.
Who are the 4 in front of him?
Mahomes, which
Fair?
Allen.
No.
I'm taking Jackson over Allen.
So am I.
Hurts. If they were both sitting there,
I'm taking Jalen Hurts over Lamar just
so.
based off of last year.
Correct.
Just based off of last year.
Yeah.
Burrow. This one would be tough for me. ADP, they're 4 apart.
I think Lamar Jackson over Joe Burrow this year.
I think I'd go Burrow.
There's only
but I'm taking
one reason
Jackson
why
over
in
Allen.
fantasy the rushing and the rushing touchdowns, the guy's going to be elite. You
He's
have
just
to-
never had. He's got 3 pass catchers. He's got Rashad Bateman. He's got Odell Beckham. And he's got Zay Flowers. And we're talking about before we
And
get to
Mark
Mark Andrews. We're talking about before
Yeah.
we get to Mark Andrews. He's never had this before, and he won an MVP with significantly less than that. So if everyone stays healthy,
Deshaun
that's why I'm
Jackson.
so high on the Ravens this year.
The ghost of Deshaun Jackson.
One more quarterback I want to talk about.
Okay.
Justin Fields. Does he continue?
To progress?
No, does he continue? There's a hot streak that he had last year, which took him up to ADP 59 currently. So
Okay.
it's not really back or lack. Is he going to continue doing what he's doing and come back with the same, point wise that he did last year, or do you see a fall off?
He's not sneaking up on anybody again.
Just so you're aware, he's quarterback 6 right behind Lamar Jackson.
I know
Oh,
that.
are you fucking kidding me?
I don't believe that. I don't think that's
If my math is
There.
correct, that means Jared Goff is behind him, right?
Jared Goff is
Yes.
currently
I thought he was 8.
ADP 159 and the 20th quarterback.
Can you just go ahead and just read a couple of the quarterbacks that are behind Jalen Hurts? And I will
Behind-
we'll go through and just
Behind
laugh.
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Or you mean Justin Fields?
Or Justin Fields, excuse me.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Justin Herbert,
I'm taking Herbert over Fields, and I'm not even high on the Chargers. this
Trevor
year.
Lawrence,
I'm certainly taking
Definitely
Trevor Lawrence
taking
over
Lawrence.
Lawrence
Fields.
should be
over
above
him.
both of them.
Deshaun Watson.
That's
I don't know.
close.
Dog
That's
poop.
close.
What we seen last
Honestly,
year out of them, it better be a vast improvement, or I don't see that happening.
who's next?
Dak Prescott.
No, he's. I will say this. I will say this right now. I'll bet you that Justin Fields finishes with more points than Dak Prescott.
We didn't talk about the Cowboys with DeAndre Hopkins too. By the way, they're kind of up there in that conversation. That being said, pending certain things, right now I'm taking Dak Prescott over Justin Fields.
Cousins.
I'm still taking Kirk Cousins because he has Justin Jefferson.
Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes over Justin Fields.
Rogers.
Definitely over.
Aaron Rodgers over Justin Fields.
Tua. Oh, shit. We forgot to talk about Tua. Did anybody see the pictures of Tua that came out of OTAs?
Yeah, he's fat.
He gained 27 pounds.
He's been eating poi.
Is it a muscle related thing or is he just a big boy now?
He's trying to thicken up.
He's looking thick. He's looking thick. Hold on.
I would like to see.
With a C, not a K.
Uncle Sam has sent me so many things today, I don't even know where to get to it.
He's working on it. He's scrolling right now.
Where did I send that to you on?
Here, I'll just Google.
You know what? Oh, it's on the. I'm pretty sure it's,
It's on our story.
It's on the tip ball story. Here we go.
That's got to be photoshopped or something on the right.
CBS Sports. It's got to be legit.
Jesus Christ.
He's thick.
He's got
Either
a
way,
lot
are
of
we
meat.
taking Tua over Fields?
I am. I can understand why anyone else wouldn't.
No,
I mean,
I would take Tua over him because I think Tua.
he's got 2 receivers he
has
could
the
throw
best
to.
receivers
He's
in
got he's
football.
got the best tandem receivers until Hopkins signs with the Bills.
Geno.
No,
Geno
I'm
who?
going Justin Fields over Geno.
Geno Smith.
Does that mean they have Geno over Jared Goff?
Yes, they do. Russell
I'm not
Wilson. This will be.
I'm going to say this, and I know this is going to sound stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I got a feeling he's coming back.
Oh, jeez.
That's their
I got a
season
feeling
hinges on it. They could sneak into the playoffs if he comes.
It could
back
not
this year.
get any worse than it did last year for him.
Are you
I
taking
don't
him?
think it could get any
So
worse.
you're saying yes, he's better than Justin Fields, right?
Yes.
Can we go back to the central
Listen, there
question
was a
on
time
Fields?
that
Yes.
Russell Wilson was arguably
Yes.
one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, guess what? There was a time when Trent Dilfer was too. Next, listen.
No, Trent Dilfer was never the
Listen,
best. In the
I'm
league.
going to say
Ever.
something. I'm going to
Ever.
say something. There's one
God
quarterback
bless Trent
out of
Dilfer right here. God bless him. Trent,
I'm not even putting him on.
you're my guy.
Okay. There's one quarterback that I've named so far under Justin Fields that I would take. Actually, two. The 2 guys I would take over Justin Fields that I've named are Trevor Lawrence and Tua. I think, and God, am I going to look stupid. And I know you're going to clip this already, and I'm going to regret it here in a few months. I think Justin Fields finishes this year as a top 5 fantasy quarterback.
Wow.
Point-wise.
To answer the central question, I think he does just based on the personnel that they've brought in. I think he exceeds what he did last year. I do not think he's good enough to be a top 10 quarterback. I don't think he's going to be some fantasy all-star. He's going to have some big games here or there for some teams that have lackluster defensive
It'll all be
fronts.
rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, there'll be a
Correct.
lot of
That's it.
rushing touchdowns.
That's it.
I think they've done enough to help him. And I think he's going to improve over last year, but his plateau is coming, in my opinion. And I could totally be wrong. I love watching Fields play, and I'm a Michigan fan. I love watching Justin Fields play. I love the rushing thing. I love that he's a running back. It's entertaining to me, but that model has not sustained in the NFL. So I think he's going to improve. I think he's going to plateau. Like, he's going to hit his ceiling pretty soon here.
He's reminding me of Cam Newton.
And he plateaued.
I don't think there was anybody that
In fairness,
physically gifted more than Cam Newton.
in fairness, if you're going to play that card, Cam Newton did win an MVP before he plateaued.
Correct.
So-
Correct. But as soon as he did that, and he goes to a Super Bowl and was totally
Here we go.
molested,
Talked about Von
and
Miller.
after that, what did he do?
Shit the bed.
He washed out of the league. He's not even
Dookie.
in the league anymore.
Poop.
Next
Wash
up.
out.
Next up. Najee Harris.
Back.
Back.
100% back.
Back.
100% back.
Back.
I love the
back.
Steelers this year. I think they're going to sneak into the playoffs. We've talked about that.
Alvin Kamara.
Lack.
Black.
I don't know. We got to see what's going to happen.
Just it's real simple.
The
He's-
coaching staff, I don't have any kind of faith in them.
He's in that window now in terms of age where there's running back regression. He's finally in that window.
Correct.
He's got the legal issues off the field. And on top of that, I think they're going to be throwing the ball. And throwing the ball, of course, could mean Alvin Kamara. But with Derek Carr back, I think they're going to be throwing the ball a little bit. Michael Thomas is back this year.
Michael Thomas got to get his shit.
You know,
together.
they got Olave's great. And I think, didn't they draft a running back? I think
They did.
They drafted someone good, if I remember correctly, too. But I think for that reason, that's my first lack.
Yeah.
Kendra Miller.
Yeah, who we all agreed was pretty good.
DeAndre Swift.
Lack. That doesn't mean he's going to have a bad year. He's just not going to. That offense isn't conducive to having a running back like him. He's going to do
We're going to go
more.
running back by committee.
He did a lot of pass catching here. He's going to do more pass catching there. And there's just only so many guys that could catch passes. It's not going to be a lot of between the tackles work. And I think he's going to have a good season if he stays healthy.
Gainwell.
But
It
lack.
just depends on how much will he crack the line.
Yeah, of course.
That's the key.
I don't think he's going to put up Ben Johnson offense numbers there. So lack on DeAndre Swift.
I agree with lack. James Conner. This one is real. I mean, 2 years ago he had 18 touchdowns.
Here's the problem. I think the Cardinals are going to be at the bottom.
Yeah, but that sometimes that's good.
At the bottom. Correct. Fantasy number wise.
Correct.
But here's the problem with them. They didn't do anything to secure that offensive line.
I thought didn't they draft someone with the
They
pick of
did.
the
draft a few guys, but you know what? They're rookies, and you got to work those guys in. Their offensive line was absolutely atrocious last year. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't throw the ball. As soon as Murray got hurt, it was over.
I'm going to disagree with you on this one. I think he's back.
I do too.
I don't think he's going to have 18 touchdowns like he
That's
did in
what he does.
2021.
That's what
I don't
he
think
does.
he's going to have 18, but I could see him getting a little bit more yardage than he's used to. Usually it's between 2021 it was
He's got to get healthy
850.
too. He was so hurt.
I think he's going to surprise people this year.
You know what teams do who don't have a quarterback and who are
They
bad?
run the piss.
They run
out
the
of
ball. They run the ball, and they didn't do a lot to that offensive line, but they drafted someone.
Okay.
They drafted someone in the top 10 to play tackle, and I think that's going to be a start. And he's going to have a little bit of a bounce back here. Maybe what's his ADP?
ADP
They have a lot of draft picks for next year.
is
Hell yeah, they do.
54.
Yeah, maybe a little under that, but he could easily. I could see a scenario where he's a top 14, top 12 running back.
You want to know what's interesting? Kamara's ADP 49. And
So
I
if
mean,
you're the Cardinals at this
Brees
point,
Hall,
That's
you're going to
RB2.
love this.
Hey,
Kamara's
let me
an
ask you a
RB2.
question. If
Yeah.
the Cardinals start out this year, and let's say they shit the bed, they lose their first 6-7 games before Murray's going to be back. Do you think they go with the Caleb Williams
In the
sweepstakes?
sweepstakes?
The people have talked about it just because they have the draft capital.
Correct.
And that's a franchise that hasn't shied away. I mean, the year before they drafted Kyler Murray, they drafted
Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen from UCLA. So it's plausible. Listen, Caleb Williams is good enough that you're going to see a lot of teams do what the NBA did this year to draft Victor Wembanyama.
Think they're going to tank?
You're going to see some teams like the Patriots that could come out, like teams that surprise you that are going to come out and take, because Caleb Williams is going to be a very heralded quarterback prospect. Very heralded. Probably one of the bigger quarterbacks to get drafted since I'd say Trevor Lawrence. Before that, like you can make the case Caleb Williams because of the complex offense he runs at USC. And I'm off on a tangent right now, I'm sorry. But because of what he's doing at USC, you can make the case that he can be like an Andrew Luck style, we're going to tank for this guy type player.
Okay.
So maybe. I do believe in Kyler Murray, though, just because we've seen it. I think because we've seen it, and when he's good, he's good. And they may be phoning it in this year because he's not there for half the year, and they're in a tough-ass division. Well, not tough, but, they had 2 playoff teams
I
last
would say
year.
it's a tough division.
Yeah, you
That's
can make the
a tough
case.
division.
Javonte Williams. He went at the 1-2 turn in a lot of leagues last year. Now,
He's high, right?
I mean, we got to look here.
I
He's
think I fell.
well underneath Jamar Gibbs.
Wow.
I mean, I'm through page 1, and I haven't found him yet. So he's
He's not existent then. What you're telling me, he's not in the top 12, top 15.
I'm looking as we speak, and I'm for some reason having a lot of trouble finding him. Either
I've read a
way,
stat on him recently that I'm going to try and bring up.
he's an interesting one to me because I really, really think he could. It's very dependent on the Broncos'
he's back.
offense,
I think he's back.
but I kind of want to say he's back too. I think I'm going to say, yeah, he's back. I think he's back. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't know if he's top 5 running back. I don't know if he is.
top 10.
I think he could possibly be right there at the tail end.
If he's in that
top
Camaro role,
10. Javonte Williams, ADP 90.
if he's in that Camaro role, which is the rumor, if he's healthy, which I think there's a lot of questions around his health right now, and I saw something that they're secretly nervous about him, the Broncos. If he ends up in that Camaro role, which is something that Russell Wilson hasn't had in a while, a running back where he could just dump the ball off to in a screen, I think he could easily have a monster year and be not just a top 10 running back, but like a top 7 or 8 running back. But he's got to stay healthy, and it depends. Sean Payton's been very good with running backs over the years.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see.
Sean Payton knows how to build an offense around running backs too.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say back
I'm
on
gonna say
Javonte
back,
Williams.
too. I got one for you. Jamal Williams.
Lack.
There's
nowhere to go but down.
Yeah, that's true.
And that doesn't mean he's gonna have
about that?
that doesn't mean he's gonna have a bad year. It's just statistically,
Well,
it's
he's gonna
very
have
hard to do what he
split
did.
carries with Kamara.
Yeah,
Well, it's not only that. It's
and
like
they drafted someone too. They had Keandre Miller.
it's like the whole thing with James Conner. Like he's not going to do what he did in 2021 again. I'm sorry, he's just not. But I don't think he's going to be awful. But I don't think he's going to be that late round guy that you
The
picked
whole
up
thing
last
is,
year.
What does Sean Payton do with his backs? He likes to utilize more than one back. He's always liked to do that. He did that in New Orleans.
And by more
He
than
would
one
have
back,
two-headed, three-headed monsters. in New
they're
Orleans.
usually 2 different running backs too. There's a between the tackles guy, and then there's a pass catcher, similar to what the Lions are
Remember,
doing.
he had a Mark Ingram to offset
Yes, always.
the Alvin Kamara.
And you know who his Mark Ingram always was? It was always Mark Ingram.
right.
His between the tackles guy was Mark Ingram in 2 different stints, and he won a Super Bowl with Mark Ingram. So
Yep.
I want to jump to receiver. Debo Samuel. I'm going to say something, and it's going to surprise you because you, of all people, know how much I like him. I think he's going to lack. It was a very injury-ridden year last year. It was a very inconsistent year last year.
I think he's losing faith in Shanahan.
Well, I think that offense is evolving
McCaffrey.
to where they don't have to depend on him.
That's a good thing for him, though.
Well, yes, but it's yes and no.
It's not a good thing for his numbers.
It's not a
but
good thing for
him.
fantasy. I think him and Ayuk are not. It's not going to be a 1-2 anymore. I could see it being like a 1A, 1B. I think Kittle is going to be even more integrated in the offense this year. They've had a whole offseason now to figure out ways to utilize Christian McCaffrey.
They just need to get a quarterback, okay? One that's healthy.
I don't see him being I don't see Deebo Samuel finishing as a top 5 wide receiver.
You stole everything I was going to say. Number one, he can't stay healthy. But he's one of my favorite players.
I like
in football.
Ayuk.
I love
think
him.
He showed it last year. He's very explosive, and I think he's a little underrated too. I really do.
Lack on Debo because of McCaffrey. He's still one of the best players in football. He's still going to have games where he puts up 3, maybe 4 TDs, but he's got to stay healthy for him to. It's the same as Jamal Williams. It's really hard to keep repeating those numbers every year. We're talking about like best fantasy players of all time. If Debo does that, there's nowhere to go but down. That being said, he's a monster when he's on the field. I just think that there's so much going on there, and McCaffrey, the offense is going to go through McCaffrey. So for that reason.
The
Lack.
run game, period.
But that, hopefully that just means I
like
could
what
steal
they do with
Debo later.
Ayuk, and they run that play action stuff to this guy. He was unstoppable in a couple of games last year.
I agree.
To where it used to be all Samuel that was unstoppable. This guy's kind of jumped in this, leapfrogged him here a little bit.
This name, Brandon Cooks.
It depends where he plays.
He's in Dallas. He's
Dallas
with
right
the
now?
Cowboys. He's with the Cowboys.
Because he's been on 15 different fucking teams.
Can he stay? Can he play an entire season without missing any games?
I'm
That's
going
the
to
thing.
say this, and I want to say it boldly. Back.
You know what? Bullshit. I call bullshit.
You're calling bullshit
I call
because
bullshit for
we're
one reason,
Cowboys
one reason
is in
only.
there. Because Dak Prescott
Thank you.
and Mike
Thank you. That's
McCarthy.
all you need to say.
I don't care. I think Cooks is going to be 1,000-yard receiver.
Okay, let me ask you a question right now. If Cooks is 1,000-yard receiver, what is Jerry Judy? Or not Judy? Who's the other kid that plays?
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb.
I think-
Where's CeeDee Lamb at?
I think
then?
CeeDee Lamb's a 1,400 or 1,500-yard receiver.
Okay, so
this
you're
year.
going to tell me right now that Dak Prescott is
That's
going to throw
never
for
been the
5,000
Cowboys.
yards?
Yes, that's not the Cowboys' problem. Dak Prescott could throw for 5,000 yards.
Yes.
And he could also have 25 picks in there, and they're
Correct.
still going to lose the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But
Dak
I
Prescott
think
is Jameis Williams. Dak Prescott is
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston. I'm sorry.
No,
He's Jameis Winston.
Yes.
Yeah, because Winston's the same way. Guy throws for 5,000 yards, throw 30 fucking touchdowns, 30 fucking picks.
I shouldn't even have went here
That's
because
Dak
I knew that
Prescott
what this was
right
going to
there.
turn into.
Inconsistent.
We're not
garbage.
talking about Dak Prescott. We're talking about Brendan Cooks.
So exactly garbage.
I'm going to go lack on Brandon Cooks because he was the number one option in that offense last year in Houston. I'll say this much. I think the Cowboys are a great landing spot, and I could see where you're coming from. I think that there's also they're not my first choice for DeAndre Hopkins. They're probably 2 or 3, though. And I think there's a very real chance they land him. And there's no way Brandon Cooks is getting more catches than what's his face?
CeeDee Lamb.
No, not CeeDee Lamb. Than Michael Gallup. There's no way he's not getting. That's just my opinion.
I don't see that either.
They've always loved Michael Gallup. They've always integrated him into the offense really well.
Can't stay healthy.
Yeah, it's just a matter of health with Michael Gallup. And, of course, CeeDee Lamb is still there. And then they did some work at tight end this year. So I
Finally
think
drafted one.
they finally drafted
lost,
Luke Schoonmaker. Go Blue.
Yeah.
I
They lost
think
their
for that
guy they had
reason-
there. What's his name?
Schultz is gone.
Dalton
Yeah.
Schultz.
Schultz is gone.
I don't think Brandon Cooks is bad. I just think lack because he's not the number one option. And who knows? Maybe he won't even
He
be
might
there.
get lucky and have a few big games this year. Dak Prescott might throw a ball that's within fucking 20 yards of him. He might catch it and go for a couple touchdowns.
This one's going to be decisive. Michael Thomas.
back.
I'm
Healthy
gonna say
and a
this
quarterback.
right now. If he's healthy, and he hasn't been for what 3 years now,
Yeah, at least 2.
I don't think so. I think he's done.
Yeah, well, that
I'm
could
gonna go
totally be the
lack.
case. That could totally be the case. It seems like he was about to play last year, and he was just incentivized not to because they didn't really have a lot going on there. I think back. I don't think a guy like that,
I mean,
a
he couldn't do it
game-changing
with Andy
talent.
Dalton.
I'm going to say back 1,600-ish yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, Derek
What?
Carr. Someone's got to catch the ball there, and I think
Yeah.
him and Olave on the field together is going to look really good for that.
Olave-
You want to know what? You want to know what? Okay,
Yeah.
you have to remember that division, in that division, and I agree with Zola, the Panthers are going to be decent, but it's going to take them time. I think New Orleans is going to come out to a really, really strong start. And I think they're going
The
to.
only way New Orleans could go out to a strong start is if Sean Payton was still there.
I had them as a fringe playoff team. I
do too.
think I think they could
Okay.
easily. They don't even have to win their division. It goes back to that strength of schedule talk, and
Yeah.
people are going to get play there. And Michael Thomas is one of those people that's going to get play.
Last receiver before we move on to tight end. Calvin Ridley.
Back, he's playing with an MVP
Back,
candidate.
Blow it up. dude.
Back.
He's healthy after a year off, and that guy had a lot of health
The whole
issues.
thing is, can the ball?
Back.
Will the ball get to him?
It will.
Yeah, I think it will.
Will
It
it get
will.
to him?
Yeah.
He's in a great spot.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love the Jaguars. Jaguars,
This is the
offense
best.
looks so pretty
This
right
is
now.
the best quarterback because he had. You guys like to talk about the ghost of Matt
Matt
Ryan.
Ryan.
This is the best quarterback in
all right.
MVP candidate Trevor Lawrence. This is the best quarterback that Calvin Ridley has ever had.
This is the best receiving
In pro
quarterback
football,
that he's had.
Yes.
Period.
Yep.
You know what? We touched on this guy already. I want to touch on him
You
one more
skip
time.
some people if you want to. I don't know if we have time, but I saw you skipping some people on that.
Well,
list.
who's one of the ones I skipped that you want to do?
Let's do Uncle Sam's. I think you spared us this one because you didn't want to hear what Uncle Sam has to say, but you and I are going to defer on this one. Cordero Patterson.
I did skip that on purpose.
I'm going to say this. I think he's lack.
What?
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. He is lack.
Just because I don't think he's going to. He's not going to get the playing time just because I don't even think he's going to start.
And his numbers just can't be where they were. There's nowhere to go
Last
but
year,
down.
he started at running back for the first 12, 13 games.
So you don't think
Well, would you start him over the guy you just
you would?
fucking picked over him?
You would.
They took the best thing. I would, personally.
Ooh, that's a good one there.
I know. Okay.
I think we're all going to agree he's back, though.
J.K. Dobbins.
Back.
He's not going to agree.
I don't know if this guy can stay healthy. He can't fucking stay healthy.
It
man.
comes down to that. That you can make that
Hurt
case
his
for
rookie
everyone
year,
on this
hurt
list.
last year. What the fuck?
A lot of pressure.
I think he's back.
We're
I don't.
assuming
I
it's like
don't.
Cooper Cup. We're just assuming these guys are going to have health. We're assuming Stafford's going to be healthy
Yeah.
enough for Cooper Cup.
Yep.
So assuming he is healthy in that offense, again, this is going to be a very it's going to blow up in my
This is
face
Dob-
real
this is
bad if the
Dobbins
Ravens
is shit or
if the
get off
Ravens
the
take a
pot
shit
season.
this year. I am fucked. I personally I love Dobbins. He's one of my
This is his shit or get off the
favorite
pot
running backs.
season right here.
maybe
Edward Hilaire.
lack.
Done.
Done?
Put a
You're not
fork
even going to say lack. You're just
No,
done.
Put a fucking fork in him.
Done.
He might return a punt here or there, maybe get in on a third down, but I don't think. Listen, we all know who the running back is.
Okay, but
there.
hold on. Is that what Andy Reid wants you to think?
Pacheco is the man, dude.
Oh,
Nobody
I
ran harder
agree.
than that guy.
He's sat here for too long to we would know, but is that what Andy Reid thinks? I think Andy Reid agrees with us because he would have shown us something at this point. Who knows? He
I
might
think
even be a
Andy
camp
Reid has
cut.
given up on him.
You want to know one that I thought was interesting on here? Where is he? And I was shocked to see how high up he was. It was right in here somewhere. Cam Akers' ADP is above Javonte Williams.
I
He
disagree
had a
with
great
that.
season at the end of the year.
I disagree, but I think Cam Akers is going to be pretty good next year.
You think Cam
Yeah.
Akers is back?
Yeah. I mean, who's the running back there? Who's in front of him?
I don't know. His ADP's right there with Dobbins. They're two apart.
we're
Henderson
all-
went to Jacksonville.
We're all in agreement that the Rams are operating under the assumption that Stafford is healthy and plays. We're all in agreement that at a minimum they're going to bounce back and finish third in their division
They're
instead
going to
of
run the football. They're not going to. It's not going to be some air show there. They're going to run the football. That's what they do.
Actually, I have a good one on here that I just saw that. And please try and discuss the person we're talking about here.
Okay.
Okay. Tony Pollard.
lack. He can't do what he did last year. Will have a good season. I like Dallas this year. I know you don't, but he just can't repeat what he did last year. So
Being
lack.
drafted as running back 9, 22 overall.
Yeah.
Here's the
ADP.
thing.
Above Etienne.
How severe was the injury that he had at the end of the year?
Hold on.
That's the thing.
Tony Pollard right now, above Etienne, above Mixon,
No.
above Dalvin Cook, above Ramondre Stevenson,
No.
above Najee Harris.
No. I don't have him above
Four
any
of those guys I have over Tony Pollard. Najee
Agreed.
Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, and probably
Here's
The
Think
only
about
one that
Tony
I think
Pollard.
I'd take Pollard over is
Come on
Cook
now.
right now.
Pollard is going to be in a different role than he's been in the past. he is going to be the guy.
Dalvin Cook isn't going to be there to start the season either.
I don't think so.
There's a chance he ends up in a really good situation.
Something else I'm seeing interesting on here in the running back list. Running back number 16 right now, ADP of 39, is Jahmyr Gibbs over Kenneth Walker and Breece Hall.
I don't agree with that at all.
Over Kenneth Walker, yes. Over Breece Hall, probably not. And it's not, and no disrespect to Jahmyr Gibbs. I just think the Lions are a true split. I think David Montgomery is going to get a lot of reps. The ball can only go to so many places. There's going to be games where Jahmyr Gibbs lights it up, and I think because he catches passes, he's going to do a lot of damage this year. I'm not taking him over Breece Hall.
I don't have him. There's no way I have him over Kenneth Walker. No.
Okay,
I
you also
do,
think
'cause
Kenneth
they're
Walker's an
flooded
MVP candidate.
They're flooded at running back. And I think Kenneth Walker was just the next man up and seized it. But they signed a running back, they drafted a running back.
They drafted 2 running backs.
That's right, they did draft 2 running backs. So I don't love him as much as
I
other
love
people.
Kenneth Walker. I think he's the guy there.
When there's
I really do.
when there's only so many people that could touch the ball, though, Aaron Rodgers loves his running backs. He loves play action draws.
That's
it's
why
just
I
something
think
that he does.
Breece Hall is, to me, is an MVP.
He's a perfect complement to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
So no, I have Breece Hall over Jahmyr Gibbs.
Would you say Breece Hall is better than Aaron Jones?
Yes.
He could be. He could
I think he could
easily be. Aaron Jones is a lot of inflated numbers.
Aaron Jones, to me, I think Aaron Jones is a lack this
Yeah.
year, for me personally.
Breece Hall looks the part when he plays.
That's a good thing.
Like the
What you
eye
just
test,
said.
it goes to the eye test with Breece Hall, and he passes it.
I want to talk about a different Packer. Christian Watson.
I think he's going to go up.
You do?
I think he's going to be a little bit more back.
A little bit.
A little bit more back. His
here's the
numbers
thing,
will be
the
over.
first
He could be 1,000
games,
yards guy.
I agree.
He was
I think
dropping
back.
everything thrown at him the first 8 games.
Once he got going, though, he
Correct.
was a
He was
major
on.
component of their run. And again,
He won me some games.
You guys disagree with this. I think the Packers are the second best team in the division. I think Jordan Love is going to be very serviceable, and they've sunk a lot of resources over the last 2 drafts into pass catchers, and
their
he's one of them.
defense.
And their
is gonna
defense
be
too.
very improved.
But focusing on Christian Watson, I think that he's going to be the number 1, maybe number 2 option there, and for that reason, I think he's going to be slightly improved back. Number 1 pass catcher in Green Bay for sure.
Garrett Wilson.
Should be better than last year. One would think.
Top 5.
I could see it.
Top 5 receiver.
I could see it. I don't know. I don't agree with
I
it.
know
I could
it
see
sounds
it.
crazy, but I got a feeling if he can build some kind of rapport with Rodgers, he's a top 5.
And he will. I don't think Aaron Rodgers has had a slot guy like that since Jordy Nelson, a guy that can line up anywhere in the
Correct.
field to make passes like that or catch passes.
Said it right there.
And he's going to be the number 1 pass catcher. And an offense he did damage in last year with peanuts at quarterback. So I think he's going to be great. Could easily be a top 5 receiver. I don't think so.
Zach Wilson.
But yeah.
I don't think he has the numbers he had last year.
Really?
He had 147 targets last year.
Yep.
Okay?
Yeah.
I know you're gonna raise eyebrows at me
who was
here.
throwing to him again?
I don't know, HR
ghost
puff
of
and
Joe
stuff.
Flacco?
But hold on, Lazard is there.
Okay.
You're gonna have a healthy Breece Hall. I
Okay.
think just due simply to the fact
He's
that
not going to have the targets. is
he's
what you're
not
saying?
gonna have 147 targets. I think the numbers could be a little bit less than they were last year. That's it. Aaron Rodgers likes to spread the ball around. Think about what he did last year with the receivers
Last
that
year
he had.
spread the ball around because he was spreading it to shit.
Well,
to garbage.
No, why do you think Christian Watson had such a nice year? Because he had to spread the ball around. I think that you're going to see. I don't think he's going to be garbage, but I just don't think he's going to be top 10,
That's a fair lack.
I got him as a top 5 guy.
top 5.
Top 5.
So who's finishing above him?
Who finishes above him?
Yeah.
Tariq Hill. You want to keep going?
Sure.
Jamar Chase.
Okay.
Outside, who's the kid from Buffalo?
Stephon Diggs.
Von Diggs.
Maybe him.
We'll put him
Justin
at half there.
Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson.
There you go.
What about Cooper Kupp? You're big on the Rams this year.
Possibly. You said he's going to take a step back.
Do some
That's
tight
why
ends.
I got
You got
Wilson.
any tight ends we could do?
Oh yeah, we're gonna. You want to see him?
Go ahead,
Should
you
we
clip
send him
that.
off the rails or no?
Yeah, 100%.
Clip it.
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts.
The kid from Detroit, the rookie, will have more fucking yards, more touchdowns, more catches.
More inches on
than
his
Kyle
dick.
Pitts.
More inches on his dick.
What's his name?
Sam
Sam
Laporta.
Laporta.
Yes, Sam Laporta will have better numbers than Kyle Pitts. If he doesn't, I will cut my finger off in front of everybody on camera.
I'm with Uncle Sam. I still believe in Kyle Pitts. I think there's a scenario where he gets moved because there's just a bad relationship there, it feels like, because we don't know what the fuck is going on at quarterback there. He's not going to have a bad year, and maybe his numbers are slightly better to call him back next year, but I don't love his ADP right now, so I'm going to go lack on that one.
Because I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to be the Bijan Robinson show there.
Yes, but at the end of the day, somebody
Sprinkle in a little Patterson playing slot receiver.
somebody has to catch passes there.
Cordell Patterson.
I think you're going to have Desmond Ridder coming into year 2. I think he's going to be a little bit better. I think you're right. It's going to be the Bijan show, but I think there's a possibility where Kyle Pitts finishes the year tight end.
And you don't know because if they start out shitty and whatever, they'll be in the Caleb Williams
Sweepstakes. I think that's
and I'm all jacked up on Aladdin.
Darren Waller.
Back.
I agree with back.
He's in the best situation he's ever been in at the moment. An offense
Danny
on the
Dimes.
rise.
What
Danny
better way
Dimes.
to help a quarterback than to get yourself
Yeah.
a very good tight end?
And if he gets open, which again, it's everything we're talking about is always contingent upon health. We're assuming he's healthy. If he gets open, that's a perfect offense for him because Danny Dimes moves around in the pocket and he finds guys. That's what he does. And it's also beneficial for Danny Dimes because he hasn't had anybody like this before.
Waller is a big, fast guy playing tight end.
Yeah, hard to cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, back 100%.
There's like 3 more guys here I want to talk about. Kenny Pickett.
I feel like I have to say back just solely based on the fact that I've sank so much resources into the AFC North, and I'm so high on every team in that division. I truly believe the Steelers are, at a minimum, going to finish 9-8, probably get into the playoffs with 10 wins. And Kenny Pickett steadily showed towards the end of the year that he was getting better and better
Every
and
single
better.
game he got better.
Every game he got better, and I think there's nowhere to go but up. I think every one of his pass catchers are going to be better next year. Look for a big year from our buddy from Georgia there that they drafted last year.
Pickens.
Yeah. George Pickens should have a monster year. Could end up as receiver 1 in Pittsburgh. And could easily finish as a top 15 receiver, but I think he's going to be
Now
good
that
enough.
Claypool's out of there taking up targets.
Yeah, Kenny Pickens, I'm going to say, is back just because I can't go back on any of the Steelers
I think
predictions.
he's going to – he really was playing well at the end of the year. And they beat some teams that nobody expected to – They had Cincinnati on the ropes.
From a fantasy perspective, I know I'm in a 2-quarterback league. I don't know if you guys are in any 2-quarterback leagues.
No.
From a fantasy perspective, he could easily be a top 10 QB2. Maybe QB 15 or 16, which puts him, if you pair him with the right person, that's a serviceable quarterback.
Juju Smith-Schuster.
Lack.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. One more. Interesting one. Kadarius Toney.
Lack.
He's wide receiver 1.
This
He's
is
gotta,
for the
he's gotta
Chiefs.
stay healthy.
This is extremely tough for me, because on one hand we haven't really seen it, and honestly his numbers weren't outstanding out of this world.
No.
Everything that we've been hearing and reading, if Andy Reid wants to anoint him, and I'm going to say back because it seems like Kadarius Toney is the reason why they're not going to sign DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm going to say back.
Sky Moore was supposed to be the next fucking thing.
Yeah.
The next Tariq Hill.
Well, do you think that has an impact? Do you think Sky Moore comes out this year and is the wide
Possibly.
receiver 1 there?
I don't know.
And I think Kadarius Toney could be. Juju's gone. What did Juju do for them last year? Jack shit.
No, he didn't do it.
He didn't do anything, and I think it's going to be more on the lines of that with Kadarius Toney. He could easily be a serviceable second
I
wide
thought they
receiver.
missed Hardman more than
They might
they
have.
missed him big time.
They might have. So I'm gonna go lack on Kadarius Toney. Hype's too high.
I want to throw in one more.
Okay.
Rashad White. That's your boy, and you love him. And they cut Fournette. So,
Who?
Rashad White,
The running back for
Tampa.
I'm not.
I'm
not high on anything
there.
at Tampa
I
right
put
now.
him in there specifically for you. I threw him on there at the end
do you mean?
because all
I'm
you
not-
did
I'm
last
not
year was
that-
anoint
listen.
him.
It's the same
Listen,
principle as James
I'm not
Conner.
the bandwagoner that jumps from New England to Tampa.
No, I think Rashad White. It sounds great. Everything sounds great. I think it's going to be hard for him to put up his numbers, but because they're going to be right there in the Caleb Williams sweepstake, and it goes back to that principle of if you don't have a quarterback, you're going to be running the ball a lot. I think Rashad White is going to be back and have a pretty not a big year, but better. He's gonna
Who
be
did
on the
Fournette
incline
sign
like
with?
that.
Fournette hasn't signed anywhere.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Why?
It just is. It's interesting.
What, are you going to come up with some conspiracy theory that
I just said it's
he's going to
interesting.
end up in Oakland,
Huh?
Las Vegas?
Do you have any more quarterbacks we could do?
At this point, you might as well just do everybody.
Russell Wilson.
Bruce is falling asleep behind
Russell
the wheel.
Wilson.
Lack.
Yeah, I could.
I'm gonna say back.
Lack. I'm sorry.
I'm going to say Lack as well. You want to stick in Tampa? We could talk about Baker Mayfield.
Is
Lack.
Baker Mayfield gonna win the job there?
Yeah. I don't. I think he'll start with
If
it.
he can't beat out Kyle Trask, come on, dude.
It's going to be one of those situations, and I feel bad because Baker was one of my favorites, but it's going to be one of those situations where he wins it. He's going to get deferred to because he's the long tenured guy on the staff, and then he's going to blow it bad enough like he did in Carolina last year, and they're going to switch over to Kyle Trask, who's also going to be bad, and it's going to leave a bad taste in everyone's mouth, and then they're going to be running to the podium to try and draft Caleb Williams next year.
Right. I agree.
Here's something interesting. If we take all of the big three rookie quarterbacks, Richardson, Young, and Stroud, Richardson's currently the highest ADP at 140.
Because he has the best chance to start.
correct.
That's why.
Bryce Young, 157. Stroud, 165, which is interesting because that seems to point all directions
I like Stroud.
towards Davis Mills starting.
He's gonna start.
Which one finishes the year with the highest average points per game?
Richardson.
Average, not most points, average points per game.
Richardson.
Yeah, can't
I
back
think
down.
he's starting from day one.
Can't back down. I have Richardson as arguably the offensive MVP this year in the NFL. Rookie offensive MVP. And for that reason, I think he's going to start day one, which I don't think the other two are. I think eventually they're going to play. I think we'll see Bryce Young by October. Because Richardson's going to play the most games, and they're just going to throw him out there. I think
So
it's
what
going
do
to be
you think
Richardson.
by week 7, week 8?
Stroud?
Stroud?
I think, yeah, midway for Stroud. And it's going to be, it might even be because something happens to Davis Mills. I think it's going to take a little bit longer for Bryce Young, just because they might not want to throw him to the Wolves very early. I could see some sort of split package with Bryce
Right.
Young. And
Yeah, but who's starting in front of Young?
what's his face?
TJ
there?
Walker.
No, the guy who played for the Patriots and the guy who played for the Colts. What's his name?
Stidham.
No, hold on one second.
Oh, Jesus, I'm having a moment right now.
Well, yeah, so we all are.
Okay.
It's
Ben DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci.
Ben DiNucci.
no, they signed Ben DiNucci, right?
They did, though.
The Cowboys signed Ben DiNucci.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Andy Dalton.
Oh,
It's Andy Dalton. Excuse me, my bad. Sorry,
In front of who?
in front of Bryce Young.
Bryce Young will be starting from day one there. Coming out of training camp, Bryce Young will be starting day one.
This is what Andy Dalton does, though. He's the king of bridging to quarterbacks.
Yeah, but every time he does it, he doesn't do anything.
well,
So,
that's
hold
the
on.
point. That's the point.
Yeah.
He's just there to get the other guys ready.
you think Richardson starts week 1?
I do.
You think Richardson starts week 1?
Oh, yeah.
I think Richardson starts week 1.
I don't think they have a choice.
Do you think Bryce Young?
Who was that guy they fucking threw in last year? What Jeff Saturday put in? What the fuck was his name?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't. Sam Ellinger.
Sam Ellinger.
Don't ask
My
me how I
God,
just
he was
fucking
fucking
picked that
awful.
one out. All right,
Awful.
Bryce Young, start week 1 or no?
Right now, I'm going to say no.
You?
I'm going to say, yeah. I'm going to say he beats out Andy Dalton in training camp.
I think he'll be starting by week 3. And you think Stroud by 6-7?
I think Stroud by 6.
6-7? 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-7. 6-
maybe even earlier. But I think Stroud eventually will start.
Yeah.
It'll take a month or two.
All right, so we compare it from week 7 on.
That's I said average per game.
Okay.
Per game
From
played.
week 7 on,
Yeah.
who has the most yards and most touchdowns?
I just asked you this, and you
I
said
don't
Richardson.
know.
You
That's
said
what the other ones were gonna
Richardson.
start.
That's what you said.
Week 7 on
Week 7 on.
Bryce
Young.
Bryce Young.
But
Yeah.
I think Richardson is the one that's most guaranteed to start.
Everybody better watch out for Stroud. I truly think
No, I
Dude,
think, I
who's
think,
a
I
fucking
think he could be
is the
good.
best
I
There's
think
passer
he
nobody
could be
else
out of those
there.
guys.
There's nobody there.
good. I think he could be good.
That's
Stroud.
great, but
I
there's
think
nobody
he's the
there
best
for him to
passer
put up
out of all
numbers.
those guys.
You dissing my boy Nico Collins right now.
No?
This is it. This is the last one. Deshaun Watson.
Back. It's unfortunate.
It
but
couldn't get any worse.
It can't get any worse. It can't get
Couldn't
any
get
worse.
any worse.
What do you mean he's
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt of how he looked a long time ago.
Right.
I'm giving him that benefit until I see different. It's back, and there's nowhere to go but up.
Correct.
But
Does-
he didn't show anything in the first couple games he played last year. Right?
Does he finish the year a top 10 quarterback?
No,
No.
His ADP is 85. He's currently quarterback 9.
no.
No.
he hasn't played a full season in 2 years.
And ADP, by the
Real
way,
low.
isn't an indicator on anything, in my opinion, because there's
What did he
people.
play? 7 games last year?
Yeah, no, he played like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I think.
No.
right?
No, he came back week
13 or
11?
14.
Week 12?
It was later than
week
that.
12 he came
because
back.
it was after their bye, and their bye
Okay.
was late.
Correct. It was week
So,
12. was
so
his
he
first week
played
back.
7 games?
No,
I thought it was later than that.
How many games did he play?
5.
5 games?
5 games.
He was atrocious in all them games.
So there's
He
nowhere
was
to go but
bad.
up.
He was bad.
So,
They were bad, period. But
so do you think he's
bad.
back or not?
I do. I think
You
it's
do.
only going to get better.
You
I
said-
think he's
It
going to
can't get any fucking worse than it was.
Yeah.
I think he's going to last.
I don't agree with the ADP, and he'll lack from that front. I think
Do you
he's
think he's a
don't
top
believe in that.
15
Them numbers
quarterback?
are bullshit.
maybe a top 15.
I do
quarterback.
not. I don't see him as a top
But
15
remember,
quarterback.
with ADP, there's people that are drafting that are seeing these names and just idiots that are inflating or deflating these numbers. Idiots
Right.
that are looking at names going, "Oh, that guy was sexy in the past. I'm going to draft him." Like, people have no idea Jared Goff threw for 4,800 yards last year or whatever it was.
It is shocking to see Jared Goff behind Stafford.
Jared Goff was in a top
Richardson.
5 offense last year
Bryce
that got
Young.
better. How is he lower than a lot of these guys?
He's behind Geno Smith.
Yeah.
He is ADP 2 spots above Kenny Pickett. Kyler Murray is not going to play the first 2 months,
And he's in front of Jared Goff.
and he's 2 spots under Goff. ADP is 5 apart.
Yeah, like that's a joke. So we got to be wary of ADP
Yeah, so whoever
numbers.
throws those numbers in there is fucking smoking some
Well, it's just an
fucking
algorithm.
weed, just like Bruce.
It's an algorithm based on where
If there
people are
was a camera
drafting.
on Bruce right now, you'd see how just fucking out of it he is.
Bruce is actually pretty straight today, it looks like.
Are you sober?
I am
Oh, he is sober.
just sitting here. I don't like fantasy talk. It's your guys' thing.
You need to smoke some fucking.
Well, what do you
drugs
want
right
to talk
now.
about? We'll write it down for next time.
Yeah,
No,
you know
no,
what?
I just get excited when in season. I like talking fantasy. I don't like the talk about it because none of it's ever true.
The talk?
Yeah, the talk before the draft, none of it's ever true. Guys drop, guys suck, guys end up being good. Who everybody said was awful.
All right, I'm going to ask again.
So-
what do you want to talk about then?
Bruce, you just
Nothing.
want
This
the
is your
script-
guys'
you want
wheelhouse.
you
I'm
want
back.
the whole script
I'm
for
just
like-
back here.
I know, but you're
Well,
the producer.
We
Yeah,
have
you're
I'm letting
producing
you
this
guys
shit.
do your
There's
thing.
one
Say
minute.
something that's good.
There's 1 minute and 15 seconds left before I want to end this. So you know what? The floor is yours.
The floor is
Yeah.
Bruce's.
Say something.
The new Madden is going to be compatible with
There we go. Look at
to,
this content.
with the Xbox and the PlayStation.
Oh, it's cross-platform?
Cross-platform now.
You're cross-flat platform too, aren't you, Bruce?
Wow.
Oh,
It's just a lob right to Uncle Sam, and he put it over
Sorry.
that wall in left field.
Sorry, Bruce.
Can we see the egg?
I'm sorry.
Let's see the egg.
No, I don't want to ruin the
Hey,
egg.
you know what?
I don't want to ruin the egg.
We did take. Oh! Holy shit!
It's a little burnt.
A little crispy right
red
now.
today.
A little fried
Do you like
egg.
your
I was
eggs well
outside-
done?
I was outside burning wood because that's what I do. I had was burning 2x10s of womanized wood, and when you do that, you get burnt.
Didn't you have your hat on?
It was like 200 degrees.
Okay.
No, I had it off. I was dying.
Oh,
You know what that was
you
like?
when you got here, you
When
were wet.
You're hitting that torch on that wood, and that heat's coming back on you. You know what? Does anybody know what a torpedo heater is? If you're a man, you do. When that felt like a torpedo heater was hitting me out there. It had to be like 200 degrees.
I had him sitting outside. I was finishing up some shit in the yard, and I had him outside for about 10 minutes before we came down here. He looked like he got out of a fucking swimming pool when he took his hat off. It was
I was
fabulous.
dying out there.
All right.
But you want to know what's even better than that, Bruce? Can you stand up, take that hat off, and show everybody?
I already had his hat
your
off earlier. You
23-year-old
missed
bald
it.
spot?
You missed
Yeah,
it. I had the
yeah.
hat off. I had his hat off
Not on-
earlier.
not on
Yes,
Yes,
camera.
I did. When he came over here to show how pink he was, I took
took
the hat
the hat
off.
Oh, but you can't see the back.
Al, we
You got to see the spot.
Well, you got to keep something. You got to keep
I
something
hear
as a
you.
surprise. We'll debut Bruce's bald spot at a different time. But hey, that was what a great way to end the show. Madden has cross-platform now. Anything else?
No,
That's it.
go Lions.
Be better. Be better for next week.
Be better.
Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Make sure to follow our socials.
No, you're fine.
TikTok, TikTok at
That's
Tip Balls
23.
Podcast, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Music, check us out on YouTube. Remember to subscribe and ring the bell. And if you're watching us, you already know where to listen. Thank you guys so much. And
About growing
have
my
a
beard
great rest of the week. You should grow the beard back.
I'm going to grow my beard back.
Beard needs to come
I've made
back.
up my mind. It's coming back.
Hey, longer than before.
Okay.
You need to be able to wear it as a bib. Thanks so much.